Good morning. It is Sunday. No, it's Saturday. I'm not actually recording this on a Sunday. 11th of January. Before we get to the actual rant, in which I get a bit pissed off as always at you or the gear community, but that's fine. Love your gear. That's cool. Or know your gear. That should be a channel. Know your gear, where you learn all about, how to know your gear and set up guitars and stuff. And some bald guy should do it. Yeah, that would be a good channel. Okay, I quickly want to say, say hi to all my friends in LA. Perfecto's fine. I know that Phil X, the Philmeister, he's fine. He's actually cooking meals at his home and taking it to the firefighters. He's an amazing human being. I know that a lot of people are not okay. Luckily, so far, only 10 people have died in the fires. It should be less, but 10 it is. Last number I heard was 9,000 homes destroyed. That's we can't even fathom that. Bob Clearmountain's house, where he had a studio called Mix This, and where he mixed some of the, most influential albums of ever, probably. I don't think that's ever going to come back on that level. That's gone, completely destroyed. Many studios destroyed. It's amazing that some organizations, including Guitar Center, apparently, offer to help musicians and just get them gear back. Stephen Slade posted something along those lines. It's very amazing to see the musician community come together like this, and the gear community. Very, very cool. So I contacted some people that I know live roughly in the area. Avi Shabbat, he's fine. Dave Friedman, fine. But the scope of the devastation is unfathomable. And I just want to let everyone know that is roughly in the area or is affected by it or has relatives that are affected. That, I'm not going to do thoughts and prayers because I don't do shit, but I'm sorry. I didn't do it, but still, I want to say that. I'll be in LA in 2 weeks. Don't want to go because I think they've got other shit on their plate now than hosting a Anaheim Convention Center Gear Fest called NAMM. I really don't want to go. If there's any way to justify not going, I will, but I probably will go. So, and now on to happier things. Everyone in LA that I know, I know, I love you guys. And good morning. Happy Rant Sunday. It's not a rant, but yeah, it'll be. I'll get emotional about this. I want to talk about sound functions, pedal functions, guitar functions up to a degree, but more sound. And since I primarily deal with pedals, let's talk about pedals. Coffee. I get very amused, but also pissy about a lot of the forum warriors just discussing that clipping diode over that thing, and does it have to be the Maxon Tube Screamer, or does it have to be the Ibanez? Look, there are some Tube Screamer variants that you put on the desk or the board, and you just feel a bit more comfortable with. That's fine. This time, I'm not talking about perceived comfort and expectation in the gear, which then of course will result in you playing it differently, and the result will be different because of how you think about the gear. We talked about that when we talked about guitar colors, right? Because blue guitars do sound better, which is why this one can't possibly sound good, because ew, look at this. It's a great guitar, but ew. Make it blue, sounds good. It's a fact. Watch that video. So we're talking about actual use. Not, oh, I like that pedal because I always wanted it. Oh, everyone says that the something clone variant is like the best, and then you finally got it and you're super happy about it, and and that makes you play and you're just happy because you finally have something rare or something everyone else always coveted, or you're saving up for your King of Tone and then you're getting it imported into Switzerland where you have to then befriend someone in Switzerland that can send it to you and all that bullshit. It's crazy. I'm talking about the functions of the pedals, which, wait. Oh, look, now I'm in focus. Sorry, we still had that on a different setting. Hey, I'm not repeating that shit. Phoning it in. I'm talking about functions. And I think that the pedal functions are the same across a huge range of variants. So let's go with a tube screamery thing. Let's go with a tube screamer. That's the most common thing. What do you do with it? You boost with it. Let's take that away because that's a different kind of function. But generally, it gives you a bass staff. There's not a lot of low end. But not even that. That just doesn't even matter. It gives you a low gain, mid gain, overdrive / distortion. I know that technically the two are different in terms of how they look on an oscilloscope. Who gives a shit? For me, overdrive is less, distortion is more. And the kind of thing you play with it is a certain part. What would it be? I'm playing a big open chord, okay? I'm plugged into an XFX3 right here. That's now just a jazz chorus, okay? You're doing that and you want it to be brittly, but not too much. So you're looking for a low gain overdrive, right? Or you're doing this. That kind of nice higher, that kind of thing. So you're looking for an overdrive. So I'm gonna go and turn on, in front of the jazz chorus, a tube screamer, right? It fulfills that function. I can now make the music that I need to do because I have a sound that will fit in the mix the way that it has to. I need to do this. Right? It does that. Instead of... So it does all these three functions. But now people are like, oh no, the clone does that amazing... Oh really? That's what really bugs me because I don't think that the function of what you're playing changes. Yeah, you think about it differently. You think of John Mayer, you think of... Bonamassa, you think of, the clown's expensive. That's all in the head. But in the mix, in the function of your songwriting and arranging, as an arranging tool, does it change whether you use a clone or a tube screamer? Even though the clone will have more low end, does that change what you play? Should it change what you play? Where's the clone? Okay, that is thicker. I'm going to take the gain down to get to my function. Not going to even A-B. That's not the point. I want even less gain. The difference between them is completely negligible for fulfilling the function of these parts in a song. Whether I use a clone and a tube screamer, which are pretty essentially different, right? Has no bearing on the song, the hit potential of the song, what the singer will do. The function has been fulfilled. Now you're going to go and, get your King of Tone and wait for ages to get the King of Tone. Here's a Tone of Kings. Again, this is all a modeling variation. Okay. Need more drive here. I need a lot more drive here. Does this actually have more volume? Come on, it's really quiet there. Yeah, it sounds different. But the kind of part you play with that sound is still that part you play. There's going to be tiny variations, and don't start talking about fucking like, oh, but if it had the 1983 limited edition NOS germanium transistor, then it would have that little bit of a boost at 400 hertz. Yeah, because then you would do what? Play a different part? And it would change the song? But what would that change? Fucking nothing! Okay, I can crank up the drive here, and I can go to the 808 again, Tube Screamer. It's same settings, okay. Yeah, it has that mid push, absolutely. It is a slightly different sound, but you will not play anything different. Because the function of those pedals is to do a certain thing musically. Let's never forget that. Let's never forget that the gear we buy has to fulfill a musical function, right? We're going to do more. Let's talk about the PXO here. This is absolutely killer. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's got a boost. It's also very pointy here. You could kill people with this. Ow! Rock and roll. It's got a boost and an overdrive section. Now, the function of this is very simple. Phil X has a big Friedman X amplifier, which is a modded 800. And he has a big rock sound. Sometimes he does fly gigs where he goes to a stage where he doesn't have his amp. And there is some kind of amp there. Might be a tube amp, might even be a modeler. In an absolute pinch, he will play through a modeler. With this, he can boost an amp on stage to kind of get his sound to where he needs to be when it comes to, if it's on edge of breakup, he can push that more into a nice rhythm sound. Bam. If he wants a kick-ass, saturated Eddie type thing, go to the drive. If you want everything, go to both. The function here is to get close to his tone wherever he goes with varying gear. It absolutely beautifully fulfills that function. But musically speaking, that boost is going to get him these open sounds when the amp is already edge of breakup. Could he do this with a different boost? Yes. Has he done this before with a different boost before he had this? Yes. Could he ask any one of the other guitar players that are at that gig, hey, do you have some kind of boost that can kick this amp harder? Yes. Will he then play the gig and be great? Yes. It's good to have this. It's also very expensive, but it's really kick-ass video coming up on the channel. But it fulfills a function, right? And we're so freaking picky about all this stuff. It's like, it's got to be the clon, but with the limited germanium thing. That just blows my mind. Because are you playing different things? Obviously, if we have a low gain, mid gain, pushy overdrive on the board, yeah, there could be a different flavor. You could stack them, okay. But do you need 4 of them? No, they all fulfill the same function, right? Now, as a boost, a Tube Screamer, fun. You have that in front of a high gain amp, like if you have a freaking Mesa Boogie rectifier, they sound like ass until you take the low end out, which is something you can do with a boost like the Tube Screamer because it pushes in less low end. Okay, well then there are more products that do that function. An EQ could do that. Absolutely. You could set up an EQ, push the level, because that's what you do with the Tube Screamer. Or, of course, the Horizon something devices drive, Horizon something, whatever it's called, because it's literally supposed to do that. And the the periphery guys, based on the new presets in the Axe effects that were made for them, are playing with very little low end, so that the bass and the drums have space. Also, 3 guitars with a lot of low end would not work, and they're playing 8 strings anyway, or sometimes. Okay, so let's talk. I mean, amps is literally the same thing. Let's turn this drive off. You can see what I'm doing. It's also not necessary. I don't know. Brit. I don't. Here, Brit JM. Let's see what that does, right? I mean, same function as taking a jazz chorus and putting a tube screamer in it. Not the same sound, that's not what I'm talking about, but you got to play the same kind of stuff with it. And if you record that in a great song with a great vocalist and a grooving drummer, then nobody's going to give a flying rat's ass about what kind of tube screamer diodes did you have. That's for the forums and the people that don't even do this. Sorry, people that don't even do this. Maybe sometimes you should do and experience the gear that you have. I'm bitter about this. So this is dense. Because it says JMP. I don't even know what that means. See, I don't care. I don't care what it sounds like, but that's one of those more dense, rocky Marshalls. Woolly, absolutely. But what are you going to do with it? Maybe the same thing. You're going to have a woollier, thicker sound in the low end. I think you'll still play the same thing. When it comes to solo, though, it does change how much something compresses, changes how long you might hold a note. So it really will change the music you do. When it comes to single notes, rhythm playing, I don't know. It's a pretty good sound there. But let's find out. I don't know any of these. That's a 9087X jumped. Don't even know what that is, because I don't know anything about treble gain, normal gain. Thinner, but okay, yeah, well, it'll do the job. That's an AC20. Pretty low-end stuff, right? Gotta kick up the level here. Oh, is that too loud now? That's okay. You might, because it's spanky, you might pick that to play different things than you would with the Marshall, right? You might do these kind of things, more open, with the top end needs to sparkle, but other gear also fulfills that function. It's not like only this amp, if it only has those power amp tubes, metal amps, let's talk about metal amps. Yeah, there is a difference in frequency response and in attack and how dense the saturation is. So if you need something that has a lot of saturation and a good attack, then you could play an Engel. You could also play a Rev. You could also play a 5150 type thing. Okay, they're all very dense, very saturated, and high gain. You can do the same part just as well on any of them. Does it have to be the block letter with the EL? Who gives a crap? Just fucking make music. They all have the same function, okay? On my amp wall, I make sure that I have something of every function. So you won't see 4 amps that do exactly the same thing with the tiniest variation in tube output voltage or whatever. You won't. Of course, you feel differently about a Dietzel because Miles Kennedy played and Tool and Metallica. So in your head, we're not talking about in your head. Okay? How you approach gear is different, and it's absolutely a valid point. You want the Dietzel because of the association and who played it, and that makes you approach it differently. Just like the color of the guitar makes you approach it differently. Absolutely. 100% agreed. I can't tell if this is lit right or not. I have no idea. Because there's sun coming in, and I'm sorry. This might be a shit video. I mean, all of them are, really. Because we covered last week, I have no talent. Many of you like to say, yep, agree, and then move on without actually getting the main message of the video. I don't have a midlife crisis. It's just a topic that I talked about, and it's true. So thanks to the ones that were very supportive. It wasn't necessary. How you approach gear and what you think about it, all different. But the function of a Dietzel or an Engel or a rev is the same. Frequency response is much more determined by the cab. Glenn Fricker is fully right about this. The cab will determine the frequency response way more than the amp. So whether you're playing a Dietzel, Engel, or rev, I mean, I don't know if I can do this with this guitar. And I have the same cab. It's a 1960 Marshall. Oh my God, how do I... There are so many... Das Metall? I don't know what that is. That might have been a bit loud. Let's take the level down here. Ah. That's fun. Whatever that is, I don't care. It's called Das Metall. Let's see what else we have. Dirty Shirley, Dizzy. That would probably be it, I think. No. Mid-honk, not as top-endy. Can I fix that? Totally. Do I need to? No, because the cab will determine it anyway. That'll work too. Just a random thing I picked. You keep picking till you're happy, but in the end, what's energy? You really want to tell me that that's different enough to spend another couple $1,000? I mean, please do, because that's my job, selling you that stuff. It's likely a Powerball, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It does the job that it's supposed to do. It fulfills the function. Do we have anything else here? I mean, whatever nuclear tone is, I don't know. that's a lot high gain. Why are there so many amps in here? Oh, recto, that could be interesting. We can turn the tube screamer on, which we have here. And we're really back to where we started, if you ask me. With a tiny bit of difference, but you're not going to play a different sound, a different part. Of course, it's fun to go online and talk about it all day long, and this amp's a little bit, and yeah, and buying gear, it's all fun, I get it. But the musical function of all of these amps are the same. You're gonna play the same music with them. So let's go into... I need something clean. It's not that easy, freaking Axe Effects. Let's go to the AC again. Turn the gain down, level up. Okay, so delays. What are the functions there? Or modulation, whatever. So let's say I'm playing this. First of all, I would do it differently with different fingers because that's just asinine. I would do this. So clean like this, there's no fun. So the delay has a function. I needed to fill and make it more interesting, right? So, you know what I do? I don't even know what I got dialed up here. It's a stereo tape delay. Why? Because I like multiple heads. I like multi-delays. Could be a tap, could be an even type, whatever. For me, honestly, doesn't matter. As long as it fulfills the function of... There we go. So it actually does more of what I'm doing. It adds to what I'm doing. That's it. Whether I now change that to a plex delay or whatever, they can go bigger or smaller. I get it. But the function, give me any old delay as long as it does the function, right? So I turn on a reverb, it gets bigger. That's what I need to delay. If I needed something more rhythmical, I might apply a tremolo. If it's synced, I might apply, a slicer. I could put a chorus in front of it. I don't care what that is now. It just loaded a chorus. And I'm going to go as far to say, yeah, any kind of chorus in a similar setting, who gives a crap? But even whether that's a chorus or a phaser, I don't care. How would we know? That even a phaser is just a bit more, I mean, I know it's wrong. It's a bit more severe version of a chorus. Not sound-wise. I know that it does different things, but in terms of function, right? It gives it more, I mean, the chorus makes it wider. This gives it movement. But in the mix, what you're doing musically is similar for a part like this, right? Now, I'm going to turn that off. When it comes to delay, one function I cannot do with this. It's very bitey. Is a dotted eighth trick thing. Because it's too wishy-washy. So what you need is exactly kind of the level that the guitar is at. We could do this, but we kind of need a digital delay for that. It does work with some cleaner analog delay. So it needs to be relatively clean and sound exactly like the original that you're playing. So with this, I wouldn't be able to do it. So it doesn't fulfill that function. So I'm going to go to diffuse. I don't want that. Stereo is also difficult because with the ping-ponginess, you're not really getting that you're playing it because it's more of an effect. So you're usually going to go to a digital delay in mono. And people ask why I'm not tapping this and how is it tappable? You don't. You have to feel it. Da ga ga ga. It needs to be that last one. Ga 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 ga. And then the next quarter note comes down again. Ga 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 ga. Right? Da. 1E and D2. 1E and D2. Da. Once you feel that's what the delay is doing. Ba 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 da da. Now you've got my quarter notes. Then you can just play eighth notes and you're good. So it's already there. Not that much feedback. I need more mix. Now, if the function would have to be to duck it while you're playing, then okay. Then maybe you're saying, oh, the Edge used the 2290p because it got the ducking function. Any old digital delay with the ducking function will fulfill that job. What delay is this? Digital mono. I don't give a flying rat's ass. It absolutely does the trick. So that's my point. Yes, we all look for the perfect gear. And some gear is extremely special, like the auto pedals from Game Changer. Some gear is very unique and only it will do the job. Some gear does the job of almost everything. Do I need an X effects for these effects? No. It'll do the job. H90 from Eventide will do most jobs, even some overdrives, without a problem. Now, this is not about how inspiring it is, what it means to you, how you approach it, and what it makes you do because of the association and feeling of having bought it, having unboxed it, the color, the feel, what name is on the thing. This all matters too. But for me, discussing what clipping diodes are in an op amp, I don't know any of these things, or this amp has these power tubes or these power tubes. Yeah, there are differences, of course. But do they change the usable function of the gear in a way that makes it unusable for the function that it was intended for? No. Like in 5150 with those power tubes or those power tubes, still make it a 5150. You're still going to play very high gainy, metally things on it, or, you know, Van Halen things if I could play them. The functions stay the same. And Klon, Tube Screamer, King of Tone, 3 very coveted pedals. Give me any of them, couldn't give a flying rat's ass. I'll use them for the function that were intended. And if I have one in the situation instead of the other, I'll use that one and I'll be happy and I'll play pretty things with it. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Gear has functions. Learn what the function is, and then maybe don't think about it too much anymore. If I need a delay, and I love delays, love them, I will go for a tape delay if I can, because it's a bit washy, and usually there's more heads. If I don't have this, don't give a rat's ass. I have one on in my patch here in the FX, and I turn that on, and then there's my delay. I use it for solos where I want the sound to be a bit more thickened, sustain more, give me more space. Like, I mean, I could try this. I've got the Zuta LA25 Mark II in the rack underneath. Okay, that's an all-tube amp, and that's actually wired into the Axe effects. I like to use an actual amp. It's a really kick-ass amp. So now what I do with my delay, I'm good there. Mix. Might not even put on reverb. That just gives me what I need from a delay. Would I use something else? Oh, breakfast is coming. Breakfast is coming. Thank you. Breakfast. What do we have? Oh, nice. Schinken-Käse sauce from Aldi, probably. So I could go and do this as analog stereo. Yeah, that's more modulated. That's more wishy-washy. Do you care while you're playing? No, you fucking don't. Same thing. So apparently, some people are very, very picky. Maybe they're picky in their head and they don't hear it. I don't know. But all of it will do. Let's make some music. Now hate me in the comments. Go right ahead. I will present more gear to you and tell you that it's great and that you need it. Because it's true. It's fun. I know. I have a lot of it. It's fun. But never forget the function of why you got it in the first place. Let's not get too up in your head about it. That's all I'm saying. And obviously, something about animals at the end.
As years went by, the lights went out, had no guide through the night. I got lost inside a